let's move on to some more inbuilt functions. So we have seen this earlier also, right? The type function, which tells us what is the type of our variable. So here you will see the type is int. Here you will see the type is str. Since I'm using the inverted commas for 5, right? So this is the string type, data type. Now we have also seen this earlier also, that we can change the data type of our variable. So these functions actually change the data type. So float float is a function which will convert that a particular variable into the float data type. Similarly, int will convert into int data type, right? So you can run this and you can see now type of f1 is float. Okay, so we have changed it to float, and then in 3 we are changing to int. So this we have already seen, correct? So let's move forward and we will now see the strip function. So here is my variable a1, okay, and I'm creating another variable, but I'm intentionally adding some space. So here you can see before and after Python we have space, okay. And now if you will check the equality, like see I'm again using one variable a12, and what it will be assigned and what value will be assigned to it, that whether a1 and a2 are equal or not. It will check that, and a boolean type of value will be assigned to a12, correct? So now the value of a12 is false. Why is that so? Because here, even though you are seeing that Python is present in both, but here space is also present. And remember, space is treated as an separate character, right? So that's why these both are not equal. Now, here we can use the strip function, okay, to strip the extra space character which is present either like before and after our word or our string, right? So I'm using this strip function, and I will again now print a12, and now let's say that what is the output that we are getting. So we will get true. Why? Because here you will see that with a2 I'm using the strip function. So strip function will strip out all the extra spaces which are present in a2. So these two spaces will be removed by the strip function, and then when we check if a1 and a2 are equal, then we will find it as true, since Python and Python are then equal, correct? Then the next function is the count function. So it will count the presence, like how many times that word or that character is present in your string. So here I have one string, and I am checking how many times is present in the string. So I will use the function s1 dot count, and inside this function I will pass the parameter that is. So I want to check how many times is present in my string, correct? So I will run this and you will find that I am getting 2, since is present 2 times in my string, correct? Pretty easy to understand, right? Then the next function is the replace function. So in my string over here, suppose that I want to replace machine learning with Python. So I will use the replace function. So what we are telling that we want to change or replace machine learning with Python. So first you have to pass the parameter which you want to change, and second parameter will be the parameter with which you want to change it. Okay, so run this and see. You will see that machine learning has been changed or replaced with Python. Okay. Then we have seen this split function yesterday also. Okay, so remember this split function where we will split our string into individual words, correct? And then we will get one list of those words, right? We had seen this in the last session, right? And we can also I have also discussed about a splitting of your string based on some characters. So here I have commas between these words, and I want to split my string based on these commas, right? So I will use this character over here inside the split function to split my string based on these comma. So see here you will see that wherever the comma is present, my string is split. Correct. Then this join function also we had seen yesterday. So again, if I want to join my list, so I want to join it first by hyphen dash. So I will pass that along with my join function. And if I want just a space character between these words, then I will pass one space character. Okay. So these we had seen yesterday, day before yesterday. Then here is something which is very useful while we want to perform some operations on strings. So many a time it may so happen that your strings are of not one case. So whenever you want to uh, uh, what we say, whenever you want to compare two strings, um, so we want first that we take our strings into on the same ground, like both strings should have all the characters as lower in the lower case or the upper case. So this comparison becomes easy. Otherwise you could have welcome as let's say welcome in one string, and in the second string also you may have welcome, but the w or the first letter will be capitalized. But when you compare these two strings, Python will return you false. Why? Because even because Python is case sensitive, right? So welcome with capital W and welcome with everything as small letters, it will treat it differently. Okay, it will consider it to be different. So because of that, we should first bring our strings into a similar ground, so that we can do by using these functions. So here I have the lower function, upper function, and title function. So lower function will convert everything into lowercase. Upper function will convert all my letters into uppercase, and the title function will convert my string into proper case. So what is meant by proper case? That is the first letter of every word will be capitalized. All right. So let us run this and see. So see here first output is for this. So everything is in lowercase. Then the second one is the uppercase, and the third one is the proper case, where the first letter of every word is capitalized. Correct. And then the last function that we will see is the format function. So this is very useful when you want to print your result. So you are performing certain operations and finally you want to print out your results. So this is very useful. So let's say that I want to print I have these three variables: name, subject, and marks, and I want to print them in a certain format, like report of John. So John, then which subject? So subject, and then the marks. So I want to print it in a order. So I can use this function, okay, format function. So first you will type uh, whatever um, whatever string that you want to print out along with your answers, right? So I'm saying that I want to print out report, and then since I have three variables which I want to print, I have here three pairs of this curly brackets, right? Okay, and then I will use the format function and pass in my variables as parameters. So name, subject, and marks, I will pass that. So you will see that in the first space, the value of name will be appearing. Then the value of subject will be appearing in the second and marks in the third. So let us run this and see. So see here, you will see in the first space, the value of the first variable that we have passed inside the format function will be printed out. Then the second function and second variable and the third variable, correct? So in this way, the format function can be used in order to print certain output in a format that you want to have, correct? So any doubts regarding the built-in functions? Ma'am, for me, will you run again the remove space function? Yeah, sure. Remove space here, right? The strip function. So see, previously we had this space created for this variable along with here space is created. Hence, Python will consider these two variables as different. Hence, we are getting the output as false. Correct? See here I'm checking if A1 and A2 are equal. Correct, and I'm storing the value that is a Boolean value, either true or false, in the variable A12. Okay, and upon printing this, I'm getting false. Why? Because these two are different. Why different? Because of presence of the this space character. Correct. Now, if I use the strip function on my variable A2, then you will see that the extra spaces which were present in A2, those will be removed by this function. Okay, and then so it is like this. First, the strip function will do its work, and then the output of this will be checked with A1. So what will be the output of A2.strip? It will be only Python, right? So these spaces will be deleted, will be removed. So then after that, if you check A1 and A2, it will give you true as a result. Why? Because now there is no space character present. We have used the strip function in order to remove the spaces. Correct? Is that clear? Vishnu, is that clear? Okay. Any other questions on this built-in functions? If not, then we will now move on to our user-defined functions. Okay, so no questions. Let us move on. Now let us come to user-defined functions. So as the name suggests, user-defined functions are functions which we create on our own. Okay, so we can create such functions for certain operations which are required to be done regularly or a number of times in our program. Okay, so we can create a function and then just keep on calling that function whenever it is required, so that we did not write the code of that function or a code of performing that operation again and again. Okay, so this is how we define a function. So let us first understand the syntax for that. So whenever you have to define a function, you will use the keyword def, def, okay? And then followed by the name of the function. So this is the name of the function. So here we are trying to create a function which will give us the square of a number. So whenever, so whatever number that you pass on to this function, it will square it and give you the result. Okay, it is as simple as that. So that's why you first have to, so you can give any name to your function. So this is the name, right? So square, let's say square is the name that I'm giving. Okay, and then you will use the parenthesis, and inside that you will pass something called as parameters. So while defining a function, these parameters you can consider to be just placeholders, right? So actually when we will call the function, and the value that we will be entering, that value will be assigned, let's say, to this placeholder, correct? So because while defining the function, we don't know, no, that what will be the parameter which will be coming, right? So we consider a variable kind of a thing. Anything you can consider over here. You can consider num, you can consider n, number, anything. Okay, any variable you can consider, ABC, anything. Okay, so you have to pass the parameters. So also remember that the number of parameters that you pass over here should be equal to the parameters that you will be using, right? So my function, let's say over here, will be based on just one value. So just one number I will pass, and it will square it and give me. So only one, so operation on only one value is carried out over here. Okay, so that's why I'm using just one variable over here, right? And then this header of the function ends with a semicolon. Oh, sorry, a colon. Okay, ends with a colon, right? So this colon signifies that this is the end of my header of my function, right? Then after that the body of my function will begin. So my body will include all the operations that I want to carry out. Okay, so that will have all the codes which I want to keep on using later on also. So in the body there will be the code which we want to actually perform, correct? So this, and also we also specify something which is known as a doc string. So what is a doc string? Doc string is nothing but some kind of information about that function. Like let's say here I'm writing what this function does. So this function returns the square of a number. So this is something as a description. This is a description of what your function does. So this you can write using the 3 double inverted commas, right? And then here I will use, and this is my body. Like this is the operation that I want to keep on doing up like repeatedly. Okay, so here I want to have the square of the number, right? So I'm using this exponentiation operator, which is a double asterisk sign, and then 2. So what it will do, that it will square this number. Okay, so whatever number that will be passing to this function, it will square it, and it will save the output of this in another variable a. And then I'm writing over here return a. So what does this return keyword do? Return keyword will return some value that you have calculated in your function, okay, as the output of that function. Okay, so you will see that I'm returning a over here. So what does it mean? That my function, this function will give me the square, correct? So see here, square, I'm squaring my number and then saving it in A, and returning A will give me the square of this number, correct? So let us run this and now call this function. So let's say I want to have the square of number 5. So I will just call this function. So by calling means what? I will write the name of that function which we have given. So square is the name that we have given. So square, and uh, inside that function I will pass my my number, which is 5. I want to square it, right? So I will call this function. So you will see I'm getting 25. Now here you need not always write that 5 raised to 2 or 5 exponentiation 2 every time. So you can just use this function whenever you want to, you know, find out square for any number. So square of 10, it will give you. Square of any number, it will give you, right? So this is how functions are defined. Okay. Now there is one exercise. So now we have written a function for squaring a number. Now, can you write a function to find out square root of a number? Okay, please do that. Take only 2 minutes. It is very simple. You just have to change something over here. That's all. Other than that, everything will remain same. Of course, the doc string you can change. The name you can change. Please try it in 2 minutes. And if you are having any doubts or something is unclear, you can also ask that in this time. You can also copy this, okay? You can just copy this in another cell and make the necessary changes and let me know once you have done. Yeah, you can use sqrt, but try to create a function. This is inbuilt function, right? Sqrt. Try to create a function. Just copy this function and just make some relevant changes over here. Correct. It is as simple as that. Yeah, Harish, you're right. Oh, you have sent me privately, but okay. I think now this is visible to all. Okay, so as said by Harishri, you just need to make changes over here, that we want to raise the power of our number by half so that it becomes square root. Correct. So let's move on. Now here we are trying to create a function to check if a number is even or odd, right? So we have seen this in previous session also. Let us see it again. So here I'm defining my function using the def keyword. Then I'm giving the name as num underscore type, and then I'm passing one parameter over here as num. Okay. So now we will check if that number is divisible by 2 or not. So how we will do that? We will use the modulus operator. So modulus operator will give you the remainder. So we will check if the remainder upon dividing that number by 2 is 0 or not. So if it is 0, that means it is even, correct? Any number which is even is divisible by 2, right? So here we are using our if statement to check that if that number is divisible by 2, that is if the output of this modulus operator is 0, then we will return as even. So what do we want from our function? As we want whether we want output as even or odd. So whatever is our output, we will return that, okay, using the return keyword. So now if this condition is true, then we will return that it is even. Otherwise we will return odd, correct? So let us run this and check calling this function. So now let's, so you can see here that 62 is even. 63 will be odd, correct? So this is how this function is working. Now let us see what is the significance of docstring, right? We have mentioned it over here. We have returned docstring here. So what does docstring does? It will give you the description about that function. So how can we check that? You can use the help function. Okay, just type in the help, and inside that write the name of the function for which you want to know some more information about. So let's say help num type. Okay, so see here you will see that the doc string that we have entered over here will be shown. Similarly, you can check the doc string of every function, whether it is in whether it is even built-in function, even that you can check. Okay, so the doc string for the built-in functions can be seen using this help function also. So suppose that there is some function and you don't know what it does, so you can just use this help function in order to find that out, correct? So let's move forward. Now we can return not only just one value using the return keyword, but also two values together. Okay, so here is the example for that. Also, you should remember that any code which is written after the return keyword, okay, it will not be executed. In your function, whatever you write after return keyword, it will not be executed. Why? Because return is also a kind of something which marks the end of your function, right? So whenever you call a function after return, okay, whatever you write will not be executed, it will not run. So let's see over here, I have written the print hello code after my return statement, right? So when you will call this function, you will see that it will not execute this. Also, you should see over here that I'm returning two values over here. Okay, so I'm returning the square. So this function will return me both the square and the cube of that function, of that number which I'm passing to that function, right? See here, this is my name. This is the number that I will be passing. So this is the parameter for that. And then in return, I will return the square and the cube of that number. So I can return more than one value using the return keyword, right? So let us run this. Our function is created. Now let us call our function. So let's say we want to find out the square and the cube of 9. So I will pass 9 inside my function. So you will see that that this function is returning me two values. One is the square and the other one is the cube. Also notice that this code is not getting executed. Why? Because I have written this after the return keyword. Had I written it before that, let's say we will change this and now done our function, then you will see that it is getting executed, right? So always remember that whatever you write after the return keyword will not be executed. Okay. So now this values you can save in another like variables. You can create that. So I'm creating the square valve and cube valve variable and using this function. Oh, okay, so I should remove this. Okay. Okay. So now these values will be saved in square valve and cube valve variables. Okay. So square valve. So the square of 10 is 100 and cube is 1000. So you can save the output of your function in variables like this also. Okay. Now it is moving forward. It is not necessary that you should always have return in your function. Okay, there are functions which do not return any value. Let's say this function. So here we are just trying to print something, correct? So what this function will do, it will first input the name from the user, and then it will print this string along with that name. Okay, so here you will see there is nothing that the function is returning. Okay, there is nothing that it has to return. It only has to execute. Correct? So run this and see. I'm writing my name and it will give me the output. Correct? So it is not necessary that you will that you should always have return in your function. Okay. So wherever you do not have anything, any value that your function should give you, there you will not have the return keyword. All right. So any questions till now?
Have you understood, folks, everything what we have discussed so far? Any confusion, any questions? Perfect, Vishnu. Thanks for the quick response. Others? Okay, thank you. Good. Yeah, we'll continue.
Okay. So now let's say that
We'll continue, Alti. Yeah.
yeah. Now let's say that I want to write a function which will take the salary of a person and it will return me the incremented salary. So we want to increment the salary by, let's say, 10%. Okay, so I'm writing this function. So I will use the define keyword, then increment is the name that I have given to my function, and then this is the parameter or the argument that I am passing to my function, which will take the values which I will be using or I will be passing to my function. Okay, then this is the doc string. This is the code I have written. So what it will do that I'm multiplying my oops, sorry. Sorry for that. Okay, so what I'm trying to do that I want to increment my salary by 10%, right? So I'm multiplying it by a factor of 1.1. So 1.1 upon multiplying 1.1 to my salary, it will be incremented, right? So this is the function that I have created. Okay. So let us run this. And now let's say I want to increment the salary of 5,000. Okay. So you will see that that 10% that this salary has been increased, has been incremented by 10%, and I'm getting 5,500 as the value. But now let's say that I have two such salaries for which I want to increment. Correct. So let's say that 5,000 and 10,000 are the salaries, and I want to increment and check the what is the incremented value for these two salaries. Okay. Let's say I will pass now two parameters, but I will get error over here. Why will there be an error? Can anybody tell me please why I'm getting error over here? No replies. Correct. Correct. We had passed just one argument, one, yeah, increment. I want to increment. I want to use my increment function for let's say two values of salaries, 5,000 and 10,000. So I have passed those two values to this function. But then why am I getting error over here? It is because I have used just one variable over here. Had I used two variables over here, then this would have worked. Correct? But I'm getting error over here. So whenever we are not sure that how many values will that function will be used for, okay, then we will use something known as arbitrary arguments, right? So here you have to use star args instead of just one variable. So this will tell the Python that, okay, the number of variables for which this function will be used is not determined yet. Okay, so any number of variables can be used by using star args, correct? But over here, there will be some difference in the function, in the code. That is, since now we have more than one value, we would now require to use list over here. Okay, so I'll just make you understand what all of this is about. We have, in the last session, we have learned about this append and all, but again I will just clarify that. So first I'm creating one empty list, okay, and I'm saying for every value, for every sal in args that I'm passing, okay, new salary will be sal into 1.1. So for every value in from the values that we are passing to our function, it will calculate new sal or new salary, incremented salary, and this salary will be appended to my empty list. That we will do by using append function. Remember this we had seen while we were learning lists, correct? So append function is used to add any new value to our list, correct? And the value will be added towards the end. So sal underscore list dot append and new sal. Okay, so when this loop will run for the first time, then the increment function or our first value that we will be passing will get incremented by 1.1, and then new sal for that value will be saved or will be appended in our list. So this list. Okay. Then for the when this loop will run for the second time, then my sal will be the second value, right? For let's say example over here 10,000. So now for the second iteration, sal will be 10,000. Then again I will find out new sal is equal to sal into 1.1. So now 10,000 will be multiplied by 1.1 and I will get my new sal value. And this new sal value will again be appended in my empty list, in my list. Correct? And this will keep on happening until all of our, for all of the values that we have passed. This loop will run. And then finally, it will return us the sal list. Okay, so this list, which we are, filling with each of the iteration. So sal list will be appended with a new value every time this loop will run. And then finally, we want to have this list as the output. Hence, we are returning that list. Correct? So now let us run this and see. So here you will see that our increment function was able to increment the salaries for three values. Okay, you can add any number of values. Correct? It will give you the output, right? So with this, we have come to an end with functions. Okay, so here is the assignment for you. So you have to write a function to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. So use this formula, that is Fahrenheit is equal to Celsius into 9 divided by 5 plus 32. So this is the formula. So use this and create a function which will convert Celsius into Fahrenheit, right? And the second assignment question is that you have to write a function to return 10% of total sum of input. Okay, so the number of input values can be as per the user's wish. So it can be any number, okay? Any number of values that the user will give, but for all those values, you want to return the 10% of the total. Correct? Let's say if I am passing 1, 2, 3 as my values to the function, then my function should first calculate the sum of all the numbers that I'm giving, and then find the 10% of that total. So 1, 2, 3, we have the total as 6, and 10% of 6 is how much? 0.6. So my function should return me 0.6 as the value. Correct? So any doubt you can ask now.